Okay, so are we ready to dive into a world of, spooky castles and heroines and all those great Gothic things,
Let's do it.
but with a bit of a different perspective this time, right?
Yeah, I think, exploring Gothic literature is always fascinating, but I'm really excited to focus on the women who really kind of shaped and changed the genre.
Yeah, and I think what's so cool about it is it's not just, the typical Gothic elements like, the creepy settings and the suspense and the supernatural stuff,
Right, right.
but it's how these authors use those elements to explore like way deeper ideas, right?
Exactly. They tackle things like power and identity and what it meant to be a woman in those times.
Just like they're using these dark and atmospheric stories to kind of expose what was really going on in their lives and in society.
Hmm. Hmm.
And and what I find really interesting is that even though these stories were written like centuries ago, a lot of those themes are still relevant today.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the power of these stories is that they tap into these universal human experiences that kind of transcend time.
Exactly.
So where do we want to start? I mean, I guess we could kind of go chronologically and begin with one of the pioneers of Gothic literature.
Yeah, so let's talk about Anne Radcliffe.
Ah, yes, the mother of the Gothic.
Exactly. And, like her book, The Mysteries of Udolpho, like that's a perfect example of like classic Gothic atmosphere, right? You're
Certainly.
just immediately transported to this world of like, chilling mists and wind howling through these old castles. It's
Yeah.
like,
And the suspense she builds, I mean, she's a master at crafting these scenes that just leave you on the edge of your seat.
and you go through this whole emotional journey with the characters too, you know?
Yeah, and speaking of characters, I think it's important to note that Radcliffe's heroines, they might appear fragile on the surface, but they're incredibly resilient.
They're not damsels in distress.
Exactly. They face all sorts of dangers and challenges, but they never give up.
Like Emily St. Aubert in Udolpho. She's literally imprisoned in this creepy castle.
Right.
But she never stops using her intelligence and her courage to, fight back.
And that's really a hallmark of Radcliffe's work, right? This idea of female agency, her heroines,
Yeah.
they might be confined by these, societal limitations, but they find ways to assert themselves.
They're breaking free from the walls that try to hold them back, both literally and figuratively, right?
Exactly.
And that's super inspiring. So let's move on to another like groundbreaking author who really took those Gothic elements and kind of ran with them in a totally new direction.
Okay, you're talking about Mary Shelley.
Yes, Mary Shelley and Frankenstein.
I mean, Frankenstein, it's a masterpiece that really takes Gothic literature to another level, right?
It's not just a horror story.
No, no, it's so much more. It delves into these really profound philosophical questions about what it means to be
The
human.
consequences of ambition.
Yes, and the responsibility that comes with creation,
Mm.
with wielding that kind of power.
It's almost like she predicted some of the anxieties we have today about like technology and artificial intelligence,
Oh,
right?
totally. I mean, Frankenstein is as relevant now as it was when it was first published.
And then there's Charlotte Brontë and Jane Eyre. Like, talk about a deeply personal Gothic world, right?
Bronte is such a skilled writer. She really weaves her own experiences and observations about Victorian society into the Gothic setting.
And you can see it so clearly in Jane, right? She's yearning for love and independence and a sense of belonging, but she's constantly being held back by societal
But
expectations.
that's mirrored in the setting of Thornfield Hall, right? It's this imposing and mysterious place that kind of symbolizes the constraints and the pressures that women face during that time.
But what's so powerful about Jane is that she challenges those expectations. I
Absolutely.
mean, here she is, this seemingly quiet, unassuming woman, but she demands to be heard.
And respected.
Yeah. And she's determined to make her own choices in life,
Yeah.
despite what society dictates.
It's amazing how these three authors living in very different times all use the Gothic genre to kind of critique the social norms of their day and to really give a voice to the complexities of women's experiences.
And it's super interesting how they do it in a way that's both entertaining and like really thought-provoking.
Yeah.
And I think that's why their stories continue to resonate with readers today, because those core themes that they explore, the longing for agency, the struggle against limitations, the search for identity,
Right.
those are all universal human experiences that transcend any specific time period.
I mean, we're still grappling with those same issues in many ways.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I think it's important to, kind of step back and consider how these authors might approach those same themes if they were writing today.
That's a great point. I mean, imagine how they might tackle issues like climate change or the impact of social media or the political polarization that we're seeing.
How would they use the Gothic to explore those anxieties and those challenges?
It's fascinating to think about.
So as we finish up, let's just remember that these women didn't just contribute to Gothic literature.
Mhm.
They reshaped it. They transformed it into this powerful tool for social commentary and for exploring the depths of human experience.
And they continue to inspire us today
Absolutely.
to think critically about the world around us and to challenge the status quo.
Exactly, and to keep those conversations going.
Yes.
So thank you for joining us for this deep dive into the world of female Gothic authors.
It's been a pleasure.
And we hope you'll continue to explore their amazing works.
And keep those questions in mind.
Yeah, because their stories still have so much to teach us today.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks again for listening.
Thank you.